So we fast approach our 8th race out of 24 today, here for the second round of the Rotax Max Euro Trophy at Adria Karting Raceway in the Veneto region in northern Italy. Let's have a look at your starting grid for DD2 and DD2 Masters, Heat 2, Groups C and D. So, Adria, weekend winner from last year, Daniel Mahacek starts on pole position, and we'll have Germany's Florian Breitenbach alongside Ragnar Virus and Manuel Tenschert round out the top two rows. Row 3, it's France's Paolo Besancone and Italy's Luca Monaretto in the 405 and the 449. The sole flying Finn and the sole Finnish representative here this weekend, Ville Viljalainen, will have Marta Bussola alongside on row number 4. Gregorio Bertocco and Mario Saban, that is the top 10 ahead of Matthias Lund, the current points leader in DD2 coming into this round here in Italy. Primoz Matelic, then we've got Alessandro Glauser, Hannes Morin, Matis Malinovskis, Christoph Adams, Robert Chopian, Cosimo Francesco Durante, Pritzai, Martina Stankiewicz, Zain Menesi, Fabio Constanzo Creti, Karl Klebot, Leo Kirschenbauer, Slavomir Maransky, and Michael Rossina. Michael Rossina, no lap time set by the Italian yesterday, so had a non-starter, so a technical issue, has put the Italian on the back foot, but was the driver that everyone had to chase and was bested by Daniel Mahacek in October of last year. So on the clock, 10 minutes plus an additional lap set in stone. And now we wait to see what happens. So on pole for DD2 in this race, it's Daniel Mahacek, and then Primoz Matelic on the Praga chassis in 12th position in the 504 is starting on pole position for DD2 Masters. 10 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap as these drivers will circumnavigate themselves around the fantastic 1,302 metre circuit here today. So into the tram lines we go. Are we ready? Are we steady? The revs rise. The lights do go out. We're off and racing, and a good start by Mahacek. Virus and Besancone looking to get up the inside of Florian Breitenbach, and that's already happened. Ville Viljalainen up to P4 already past Breitenbach as they're all scrabbling for position towards the front of the field. And also up and down the field as well, as we've got 26 competitors here, as it's getting a bit fisty-cufty going through the mid-pack, going through turn 5. We've seen 3 wide coming out of there earlier on today, and that's nearly given me a need of a dark room, some tablets, and somewhere to lie down, along with a defibrillator. But look, it's all getting really, really close and up close and personal as drivers struggling for traction. Hannes Morin in the middle of all of that at the minute in the 451, our inaugural senior Rotax champion back in 2018. But Daniel Mahacek already has a lead of nearly 0.3 of a second over Ragnar Virus, Ville Viljalainen ahead of Paolo Besancone from France, who round out the top 4. Then Luca Monaretto rounds out P5. I remember talking to Luca back at Genk, and he said that was a weekend I'd rather forget. Well, very true, but now he's on home soil, speaks fluent English because he has South African heritage as well. A really good guy. Hopefully I'll catch up with him in the not too distant future after this weekend. Shame not to be there, but obviously we're doing the best with what we can here in these modern these current circumstances. But Mahacek still leading. Leo Kirschenbauer all the way down to 26th position, having started on the outside of row number 12. Michael Rossina, the bullet train from Italy, from 54 Squadra Corse, already up from 26th to 16th position and climbing. Ville Viljalainen has the fastest lap of anybody at 51.041 for the Finnish driver, who currently sits in 3rd position. Rounding out the top 10 from Monaretto, it is Bertocco, Lund, Florian Breitenbach, Bussola and Tenschert. More changes for positions here, and there is Florian Breitenbach having to, that's Matthias Lund that's actually got past, and you've got Gregorio Bertocco there. There's Marta Bussola getting in on the action as well. So that is the battle for 6th to 9th place And it looks to be expanding that train because Manuel Tenchert is being followed by Hannes Morin, who's running under the, well, very familiar colours on that kart. Dan Holland Racing. So Bertocco drops behind Matthias Lund as Luca Monoretto trying to close in on Paolo Besancone. Michael Rossina up another 3 places on that last lap, up to P13 and closing on Alessandro Glauser, who is leading the way in DD2 Masters. But the battle at the front of the field is starting to implode, and it looks like Ragnar Virus has got past Daniel Mahacek for the lead. So a change for position. So it's Estonia leading this race. And both Estonian representatives, Ragnar Virus and Pritsai, both from DD2 and DD2 Masters, are in this race. But Virus will lead the field across the stripe to complete lap number 4. But Mahacek getting the slipstream effect, going down the start-finish straight. And more things are changing. Marta Bussola drops to 10th. Gregorio Bertocco drops to 8th. Behind, respectively, Manuel Tenchert and Florian Breitenbach. And there is, I think I've just seen Matis Malinovskis, Primoz Matelic and Martina Stankiewicz. That's a bit of a mouthful here with those particular surnames and first names, courtesy of those respective countries, Lithuania, Latvia, and Primoz Matelic. Based out of Slovenia. So very much the case that these drivers are going to put each other through the ringer. Luca Monoretto, in the meantime, has closed up on France's Paolo Besancone. And that's the battle for P4 at the moment. Christophe Adams, the 555, a long-time servant in the DD2 Masters and Max Masters class, I might add, has pulled the Sheepers Racing Kart Republic chassis into Parc Fermé. So unfortunately, Christophe Adams' weekend getting off to a bad start, as Luca Monoretto's weekend seems to be getting even better, because he's just got past Paolo Besancone going through the left-hand hairpin here at turn 5. 5 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock still to go here in our 8th race out of 24. So we're nearly a third way through once we hit the checkered flag after this race. So the good thing is there's still plenty of time for not just Monoretto but Besancone to maybe go after those in front. And the gap between Ville Vidiainen and Luca Monoretto, who's just set a personal best of 50.768, there is an opportunity to close that 1.2 second gap down and go for the top 3. Now Luca Monoretto knows the circuit well, and he will go hammer and tongs. He'll put the pedal to the metal. He'll leave no stone unturned and go for it. And there's a battle a little bit further behind, and that looks to be the 484 Manuel Tenchert that has just got past the 416 of Italy's Gregorio Bertocco on the Birolot chassis. Good to see Marta Bussola keeping pace with those in front. She's running top 10 at the moment and is about just under half a second ahead of Hannes Morin, who now has the Italian raging bull that is Michael Rossina. Now, we saw how good Rossina was leading the field. Now we're seeing a different side of Michael Rossina. Started 26th, no lap time set in qualification, and now is on the verge of hitting the top 10. Probably in the next couple of laps or so, depending on what pace he's putting in. Marta Bussola has started responding, and she's put in a 50.573. Rossina, 51.3. Hannes Morin, 51.2 on their lap times. Ragnar Virus has got a bit of clear air between himself and Daniel Mahacek to the tune of 0.2 of a second. And in the meantime, the Estonian, running with Birolot Baltics this weekend, has set the fastest lap of the race, but that's been quickly overturned courtesy of Daniel Mahacek, who has gone 16 1,000ths quicker than Ragnar Virus on the completion of lap number 8. 3 minutes to go plus an additional lap, and things are concertinaing at the lower part of the top 10, probably from about, say, 4th onwards, because you can see there Matthias Lund ahead of Manuel Tenchert. But Lund has been passed by Florian Breitenbach, who's now going after Paolo Besancone. And this is where things get rather close, because some drivers will push like crazy at the beginning of the race and their tyres might start to lose a little bit of that that adhesion to the circuit, and some will conserve, wait, and then start building, start gathering pace, start dropping their lap times. As now Ragnar Virus puts in a personal best, 6/1000ths off of Daniel Mahacek, who is just 0.2 of a second adrift. There is Besançonnet holding on for 5th position at the moment, ahead of Germany's Florian Breitenbach. And that's going through the left-hander here at turn number 4. And then going through into turn 5, Matthias Lund looking to... Well, he's been passed by Manuel Atencio, who's retaken 7th position. There's Gregorio Bertocco and Marta Bussola not too far behind. Luca Munaretto in the meantime has just put in a personal best, has also got into the 50.4s on that particular occasion. Gap between him and Ville Villainen now down to 1.082 seconds as we head into the last 90 seconds of this race. But Ragnar Virus still keeping proceedings under control to the tune of about 0.2, as Ville Villainen looks to be closing on Daniel Mahacek. The gap between the pair of them is now less than half a second. Also leading in DD2 Masters at the moment, but not by much, is Switzerland's Alessandro Glauser in the 5:07 ahead of Primoz Metelic from Slovenia. Pit side rounds out the top 3. Slavomir Miranci's got to within 2.8 seconds. The inaugural DD2 Masters champion, the Polish driver with 4016, running the 5:41. Got less than 50 seconds to go, plus 1 lap in the first parts before we head to the official lunch break here at Adria. So we go on to the penultimate lap. Ragnar Virus again goes purple. 50.450 for the Estonian. On the Birolot chassis, gap still has been kept quite level at 0.2 of a second. Ville Villainen doing his level best, sets a personal best in the process, but not enough. And Luca Munaretto will be very, very happy, I'm sure, to be in 4th at the checkered flag, because the timer is about to expire. So next time around, we'll go on to the 13th and final lap of this race, and also final lap of this particular part of the race. This will be just over 17.1 kilometers completed. Final lap board is out. Daniel Mahacek now goes quicker than Virus, but then Ville Villainen decides to stick his oar in and put in his 2 cents into the wishing well and gets the fastest lap of the race, 50.376 from the Finn. Running in the 4:62 entry, Mahacek looking, waiting, biding his time. Is he going to try and put one past Ragnar Virus? I don't think that's going to be the best course of action for Daniel Mahacek. You try and tell that to any good racer worth their salt, they'll tell you otherwise. They won't listen. However, we're about to go into the final couple of corners, and Mahacek is sizing up Ragnar Virus. But here is Ville Villainen as we're about to go towards the checkered flag. The top 3 will be split, I would say, by less than 0.4 of a second as we hurtle towards the finish line. It's Ragnar Virus by a whisker, 0.074. And it was 0.271 separating the top 3. Ville Villainen taking 3rd place at the end of it all. And Villainen started in 7th position, would end up taking P3. Daniel Mahacek takes P2. And then Ragnar Virus started 3rd, finished 1st. Good run by Luca Munaretto to finish 4th on the road, ahead of France's Paolo Besançonnet, who finished exactly where he started. Florian Breitenbach ended up, started on the front row of the grid, ended up P6. Manuel Atencio, 7th. Matthias Lund in 8th. Gregorio Bertocco in 9th, ahead of Italy's Marta Bussola, who finished 5.463 seconds off of the winner. Hannes Morin from Dan Holland Racing and Michael Rossina complete the top 12, with the latter gaining 14 places throughout that race and putting in some brilliant laps as always. So keep your eyes on him for the next 2 of his 3 heats. Mario Saban, Matis Malinovskis, Cosimo Francesco Durante, and at the top 15 ahead of Martas Tankevicius, Robert Chopin, Alessandro Glauser wins DD2 Masters Heat 2 ahead of Estonia's Pritsai in the 5-1, and then Primoz Metelish completes the top 3 ahead of Slavomir Moransky, who rounds out the top 4 in DD2 Masters, but also 21st. Leo Kirschenbauer in 22nd ahead of Debacker. Carl Klebort, who takes 5th in DD2 Masters, with Zayn Benessi, Fabio Constanzo Creti, rounding out the 25 that finished, with Christoph Adams retiring on lap number 3.